Hello, hello, and welcome to the Fire Tuna Club. It's Kat here. If you recall a couple of videos back, I was going to talk about how December was going to be all about the gifts I was making. Well, if all goes well, this video will be released in July. So, let's get on to what the gift actually is. This actually is going to be one-of-a-kind custom doll, another repaint. It's my take on Cortana from Halo, since my brother is a big fan. If you're a fan of repaint videos, I'm sure you already know, you start out with getting the hair tied up, cut off, de-head the body, and acetone off the face. Before we get too far into this video, I'm just going to mention that this doll is actually going to be a figure. She is not going to be articulated at all when I'm done with her. So the order in which I do things is a little bit funky. So I start with rerouting with yarn because I just love how yarn lays better and styles better. I've made several dolls by now, and I have a nice stash of unused yarn wefts that I've made or yarn from other projects. I actually got my weft box out and I decided that the yarn I used for Mika was great for Cortana, so I thought I'd give rerouting with yarn a try. Using some Yarn Bee Sweet Shades yarn, I cut appropriate lengths to do the rerouting, then I carefully pulled apart those pre-cut lengths. Then just continue on rerouting as normal. In place of synthetic hair, you'll be using the yarn and plug the holes with hair from the outer hairline in. Just letting you know, in the future when you hear this, it means that there is a text hint or tip on the video about doll making. When you're done rerouting, fill up the head with a glue, usually either a Faber tack or in my case a tacky glue, and then you can set it aside to dry to work on something else. If this is starting to look like a DIY fix your house video, that's because I went to Lowe's to buy all these pieces to make the stand for Cortana. I used a PVC joint, a filter cover, a piece of wood that was bought at Hobby Lobby, and some boardable click-on lights that actually come with the remote. If you're done watching me struggle here to figure out the method that I used to figure out the center of the wood so that I could actually screw my little light in place, go to YouTube. You're already here. Go look up how to figure it out. That guy knows what he was talking about and he explains it far better than I ever could. I also used some Quilter's template plastic that was tinted blue, so I could change the color of the light coming out of the stand to match Cortana a little bit more. At this point is when I used the E6000 glue that I had that I knew would work on PVC. I used it to glue all the pieces together to make the basic texture of the stand. I even went so far to reshape her shoe to look even more like a boot at the toes, as well as using the hot glue tip to smooth out some of the uneven edges on the side and to also flatten the bottom of the feet as the glue settled in kind of a concave fashion. Once I was done putting the stand together, and also adding a couple of extras like that rubber piping that I got out of a pillow that I don't have footage for, no one should be surprised by missing footage now. Anyway, I experimented with poses on Cortana to make sure that once I froze her in place, I would be happy with the position. I then went about layering on some air-dry clay to give her a curvier figure, a bigger booty, and some bigger assets just to fit the more womanly shape that Cortana has, as opposed to the Monster High's kind of teenage, less mature form. Once I made sure to super glue all the joints in place, I went ahead and covered those too and gave more defined shape to the elbows and creases to where the arm bent. So when I was originally starting this, I definitely wanted to do an interpretation on Cortana, because I knew I couldn't nail the realistic halo look, nor did I want to go completely cartoony with the fan art. So for the most part, I just kind of tried to stay to a color scheme, do random computer marks, circuit boards and whatnot, and try to in general keep the same ratio of computer overlay that she has in the show, but also adapt it to some of the fan art I saw and how the placement went. So really, this is not an exact replication of Cortana. I'm not quite at that level yet, but I did do my best to try to make her undoubtedly Cortana when you look at her. Now, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get to see me style the hair at any point in this video, as by the time I got around to styling the hair, you'll see potential issue in the future. I'll mention it when it comes up. But I had accidentally ripped off part of the back of the face and the side of the face, and I was freaking out. So 2 days before my brother's birthday, I was like, this doll needs to get done. There's so many mistakes. And I ran through it. I mean, he loved the doll in the end. And while I wasn't exactly pleased with the results, it came out pretty good for a first-time figure doll. I also think I have a very, very long way to go still before I get a definite style that I like and that I want as my own. But you can see here, I'm kind of getting there in terms of how I like my eyes. I am currently a mixed medium. I use the paints and the pastels and watercolor pencils, but I'm still trying to figure out the exact combination that I need to get the look I want. And right now, I'm very much a fan of getting like a toothpick and just like dabbing on little itty bitty bits of paint. But pretty much every method I could find was using Cortana. I spray painted her feet to get that glossy black look. I had acrylic paints to do the metallic blues and the light blues. I used pastels for body blushing and watercolor pencils for her eyes on top of the acrylic paints again. Oh gosh, and at the end I slathered her in Liquitex so that she looked glossy when you turn the light on, which ultimately was my mistake when I wrapped her face so I didn't accidentally glue her hair to her face and part of her face came off when I pulled this Saran wrap away. Really, Cortana was a lot of fun to make, and I knew that my brother would love it because he absolutely adores Halo. However, I learned a couple of things, like that little click-on light that I put in the stand was not strong enough to illuminate as much as I would have liked. It's still a pretty cool effect in the dark, but it doesn't convey the hologram feeling that I was trying to embrace. I did, however, like the Liquitex touch, even though it ruined the face. The Liquitex touch really added on that shininess and computery feel that I wanted her to have. Her hair, again, was too voluminous. There was too much hair. But lesson learned, I will try to cut back the yarn in the future. Really, it was a lot of fun to make her, as stressful as she was at that last 2-day deadline. But she came out, and my brother was happy with her, and that's all that matters. Hi guys, if you like what you saw and you want to see more, don't forget to like or subscribe to the channel. If you want to see what we're working on before we get it out, check out the sneak peeks on Instagram, or just follow us on Tumblr. Thanks for watching!